Everybody, I'm going to film for you 5 of my favorite opera endings, or endings to big acts of pieces that I just love. I am not a pianist by trade. I don't play rehearsals. I just do basically what I'm doing for you now, sort of by ear and how I know it to go. And hope you enjoy it. The first for me is the ending of La Boheme. It's the opera that I've sung the most of in my career. And I think the music and the chords in the ending, the C minor chord, how it starts, just nails you in the heart. And so let me play it for you. So the next ending for me is another opera that I've sung a lot of. Of course, I've heard it a million times. It's Rigoletto, the ending of Rigoletto, and there's an incredible chord. There's 2 incredible chords. First of all, there's D minor diminished 7th, which is for me one of the most minor diminished chord. The minor diminished 7th chord in Verdi is so impressionable. You hear it a lot. Luisa Miller, you hear it a lot in the Cabaletta of Rodolfo. You hear it all over the opera. But in Rigoletto at the end, you hear it most predominantly as he's doing this chromatic scale up and down to the end, when Rigoletto is lamenting over the death of his daughter. And here it is. Gilda, mia Gilda, One of the great endings is the end of the first act of Lucia di Lammermoor that I really love, when Edgardo and Lucia basically split apart, and there's this simple B-flat ending. Addio, ba 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 ba. Seems so simple, except for me, it's so complex hearing a B-flat major chord, knowing that the reality is that everything is going to come crashing down. And Donizetti does something very interesting at the end. Usually he uses a lot of medial tones in the ends of scenes. He goes, so you hear a 1, a 3, and a 5 in a chord. But in the last chord that he offers, he doesn't offer the 5th note, the F. He just offers. Very interesting, because it shows to me that there's a big question mark remaining. And so here it is, it's ba 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 ba. My next video is from another opera by Puccini that I love. It's an opera that I sang earlier in my career, but I haven't sung since, Madame Butterfly. And Puccini does something really interesting with the end of Butterfly. I think it's not even often considered the last chord and why it's so important. In all of Puccini's operas, with the exception of Madame Butterfly, we hear an ending that is always in a major or a minor 1 chord. So, for instance, in the end of La Boheme, we hear at the end of Fanciullo del West, for instance, we hear the 2 lovers talking about going off to California, and it's in this wonderful, magical major 1. And it's one of those moments you're like, ugh. But in Butterfly, he does something that is, I think, more revolutionary in that he ends with an unresolved chord that is not a 1 and leaves everybody just suffocated by the fact that Butterfly has just literally stabbed herself to death. And I think the final chord that he offers is the chord of Butterfly shoving the knife inside of herself. And here it is. It's butterfly, butterfly, butterfly. So number 5 is the ending of the third act of Manon, the Saint-Sulpice scene, which I love singing that duet, and I've sung with so many wonderful sopranos. My best friend Joyce O'Cooley, Ellie Dean. Ellie and I did a magnificent Manon together in San Francisco earlier this year. We had so much fun. It was a very chaotic, let's say, finale with us jumping all over the bed with a cross being thrown and my cassock being taken off. But when you hear this music, you understand why all of that would happen. So here it is. And I just can't help myself, but there's a bonus. I think one of the pieces of music that got me hooked on music, it's not an ending to an opera or even an act of an opera. It's one of the most magical pieces of music, I think, written by any opera composer, and it's the Amami Alfredo scena, when Violetta basically says, I'm leaving, but she's not telling him I'm leaving, but the music tells you, I'm leaving. And I have sung a number of Alfredos and had the pleasure of working with so many wonderful Violettas in my career to know how difficult this music is to sing emotionally, which makes it vocally also a task. But at the same time, it's so incredible and overwhelming that it doesn't even matter if it isn't perfect. It just matters that they sing it with their heart. And Violetta says, Sarò la tracque fior, presso a te sempre, 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 presso a te. Amami Alfredo, amami Alfredo. Ah, quanti io t'amo, addio. How much I love you, how much I love you, goodbye. But goodbye, as Alfredo looks at it, is, why is this girl saying goodbye in the sense of goodbye forever, as we're having a wonderful time? This music will tell you all you need to know.